2025 was another year where everyone on the internet tries their hardest to create a narrative that this was a good year for gaming. But let's be real, no narratives involved. This year was another forgettable year with very few decent or good games. There's people online calling this year one of the greatest years in gaming, and it's all so shallow to think so. We used to get over 30 games a year in the 2000s with more quality and creativity with smaller budgets. Just look at the 2003 IMDb games. There was over 150 games, to decent to good to amazing quality. We used to revolutionize and shit out of fun games for the fun of it, not for the green of it. I mean, just look at the 2003 Game of the Year award and nominees. The fact that Madden 03 won was not shocking. Madden 03 was revolutionary. It was ahead of its time. You will never see another year like this in modern day, and this was every year in the 2000s. So to see all these lobotomy takes on modern gaming and this year supposedly being iconic is just weird. And what I did this 2025 year is mostly play games from decades ago and some current day games. And I like to share what was the best of 2025, the mid of 2025, and of course the worst of 2025.
Willie's bed isn't even cold yet, and already they brought in a new guy.
I heard he killed his old lady and kids. Sick motherfucker.
Be quiet, you jerry-curled fool. Don't you know who that is?
Why should I?
That's Torque, the man himself. Word is he shaved half the Aryan Brotherhood over at Easton.
So fucking what? I can understand a guy killing his old lady, but he popped his kids too. Motherfucker deserves to be strapped down and dosed.
You believe what the COs tell you, Slick? You don't know shit about the man. I'm telling you, what I heard, he's all right.
That cocksucker's not gonna be all right for long if he's in the row with the rest of us short-timers.
Shut your cracker ass, Goose. Man's due respect. You show him respect.
I decide who I respect, shitboy! Don't you go telling me!
Down in there.
The Suffering is a game close to my heart. It's a game that I think about often, and it's because it's the definition of 2000s edgy games. It's a long forgotten relic, a long lost relic. A game that was considered to be stylized like DMC gameplay meets Resident Evil horror setting. You're not getting games this dark anymore. A story about a man who goes to one of the worst prisons in the US on death row, and this prison was on an island. And this is all due to him throwing his kid out the window, drowning his other kid, and his kids and wife, he kills them all one day out of nowhere. No one knows why, as the blackout is more than meets the eye in the story, and it's deeper than that, along with this supernatural demonic enemies all being manifestations of various forms of executions like beheadings, lethal injection, gassing, electrocution, firing squad, hanging, buried alive. It's a brilliant creation of enemy designs. You meet allies and enemies in this prison as you try to escape these demonic manifestations while trying to find the truth. This game nails the haunted prison atmosphere to perfection. The graphics are of course dated, but it's such a great game for its time. It has consequences from saving or killing friendlies or randoms you see. You have 3 different endings for these consequences. The Suffering was my favorite game of 2025, and it's not just a great game, it's a game that's one of a kind, and the game I always think about 21 years later.
Oh yeah, just 5 left.
Wolverine!
Cease all mutant. You see? Violence is all humanity has to offer us. Doesn't he ever shut up?
X-Men Legends 1 is a game that I still hold dearly, even in 2025. It's the greatest superhero game I've ever played. Sure, the gameplay is no Arkham Combat or Spider-Man for the PS4, PS5, but this game was a love letter to the comics, a near perfect medium to the comics. X-Men Legends 1 does not try to follow no live-action, mediocre superhero model. It's set in its own world through the eyes of Allison Cressmere, who is the protagonist of this game and a mutant with an uncontrollable volcanic ability, and was kidnapped by the Genetic Research Organization until Mystique and Blob took her and kidnapped her to, of course, join the Brotherhood of Mutants, until the X-Men save her from the Brotherhood of Mutants. And that's when you go on a crazy adventure with Allison, trying to find out if she should be an X-Men or live a normal life, and the guilt of her powers, along with the X-Men taking on the anti-mutant organization and Magneto's Brotherhood. This game really lets you explore the Xavier Institute, where you meet characters like Wolverine, Cyclops, Storm, Emma Frost, Xavier, Bobby, Gambit, Jean Grey, all of them. You get to learn the lore, the complexity of their stories, and conflicting paths between the members of the X-Men, all while trying to bring the mutants together instead of as enemies to the Earth, while Allison learns about herself and the mutant world. It's a game of perfect superhero adaptation, and you can play as so many members of the X-Men, learn so many abilities, and combine super attacks together along the way. The game still holds up today as such a great top-down game, and the reason X-Men Legends 1 is here instead of 2 is because, 1 was the all-around better game, while X-Men Legends 2 has superior party members and gameplay. I've been holding this game in the backlog for quite some time, and I should have played this sooner. I never played a Yakuza spin-off outside of Ishin, and everyone was saying how great Judgment is, so I went in and I agreed. This was another amazing game by the Yakuza team, where it takes you in control of Takayuki Yagami, who is a ex-lawyer and disgraced addict turned private detective, where you're in Kamurocho again, and this time uncovering a series of brutal murders happening around in deep conspiracies. The only flaw of Judgment is its tailing missions, where you must sneak around following people. It's slow, time-consuming, and pretty boring. It offers no challenge of losing and no challenge of hiding, but I did hear it's improved in Lost Judgment. They also turned a bunch of side quests into private detective side quests, which is awesome. From the new minigames of drone racing, Paradise VR, to the new and improved combat compared to the old Yakuzas, this was awesome, and this year I definitely plan on playing Lost Judgment. Spider-Man Web of Shadows is a game close to my heart. It's been over a decade since I played Web of Shadows, and man, I could easily say this is my favorite Spider-Man game. This game begins in a massive symbiote invasion led by Venom, and the invasion overwhelms the city, where Spider-Man must fight alongside heroes and villains such as Luke Cage, Black Cat, Wolverine, and even Moon Knight, all such while dealing with his temptation from the black symbiote suit he possesses, where player choice determines the fate of the city, with two different endings. The game constantly puts you into two choices of saving or the bad choice, which is always more fun. These choices not only change the scenes and affects how crazy the city can become, it affects your skill tree, as you can upgrade your good and bad skill tree with intense DMC style combos, something you will never see from a Spider-Man game or superhero game in general. This game has insane combos and easily the best aerial combat of any Spider-Man game, with its superior web swinging as well, as you can really loop your webs and catapult from any angle in a technical way. Yes, there's technical web swinging. The more you get good at it, the crazier things you can do with precision and technique. And yes, the game was made in under 12 months. Yes, the game is janky, but This game is like X-Men Legends, a great medium, a great adaptation, and love letter to the comics, rather than those live-action superhero movies. This was my favorite Spider-Man in the game. He was full of quips, full of shit-talking. He even has a weird joke about emails and MySpace, and how people like the Avengers or Fantastic Four don't answer his calls because how annoying he can be. This game was ahead of its time despite 12 months of development.
Sure, some fine looking things in here tonight, boy. Every eye's on you, partner. You the man. So who you gonna take home, huh?
My 5th favorite game of 2025 is Def Jam Fight for New York. This game is also on the older side, and in the pile of games that are a one-in-a-lifetime game, a relic, a unique game you'll never see again. Imagine blending together Def Jam rappers with some celebrities with wrestling gameplay of Aki wrestling games. It followed your created character who was rescued by D-Mob, aka the man who was voiced by Kratos in the new Slop God of War games, though he did a good job voice acting. And you join D-Mob's crew to ride through New York's underground fighting scene, fighting hip-hop crews led by Crow, aka Snoop Dogg, to gain respect and turf. The story is nice, it's creative, and it has so many rappers voice acting, from Snoop Dogg to Method Man, Redman, Ludacris, Busta Rhymes, Fat Joe, and even Danny Trejo is involved. This game combined 5 fighting styles of wrestling, kickboxing, martial arts, street fighting, and submissions, and it really was ahead of its time. You had heavy hits to counter hits, to blazing finishes to end your opponent, to picking out which woman you wanted in a scene or two, all the way to inferno matches, tag matches, cage matches, subway train matches, mixing into weapons and environmental damage. This game also offered you to customize your character, and it was pretty neat. If you wanted to dress your fighter into a 2000 type of person, this was it. You had the jewelry, the big ass jerseys down to your knees, the do-rags, iced out necklaces, big ass New York Timbs, the karate pants, and so on. This game I've at least beaten 8 times by now, and I keep coming back to it because it is a classic, a timeless game that people till this day say they want a port or sequel or remake of. Though it will never ever happen. I do believe in never say never, but for a game of this magnitude, it's never. I'm just glad there's a way to play this still. I never played fully a Atlas game. Metaphor is my first, and man, this is easily my favorite JRPG of 2025. The game is way too long, of course, but that's Atlas. The game has a disgusting, powerful final boss, but that's Atlas. I'd rather not want change from what Atlas fans want and accept it as it is I'd rather not want to change what the Atlas fans want. I'd rather accept it, because Atlas fans actually love how these things work in this system is, and I dealt with it and enjoyed it. My real flaw was I can't do everything I want due to the calendar system, and of course, the game is long, and you gotta take that for what it is. I want to max out all my party members, but unfortunately I could not because of the calendar system. Though with that flaw, this game is still nearly a masterpiece. You play as a young man from the kingdom on a quest to save the prince, your best friend who is cursed into a coma after his father, the king, is assassinated, which leads to an election for the throne. This game has such a great depth of story, and not just story, the party members are some of the best I've seen in modern JRPGs. I really enjoyed every party member I approached and liked their lore, their race, backstory, and conflict in the world. Everyone in this game has conflict, everyone has a path to cross, and everyone has somewhat a racist thought, which is great. This connects the lore of the world and even more to these races and, their history. The gameplay of turn-based is great, though at times challenging. The archetype job system is awesome, as anyone can be any archetype, though many excel at different archetypes. It's one of my favorites of 2025, and it makes me want to explore Atlas games even more now. Except, Persona 5. I can't play 100 hours in a game. I'll fucking die. This game has a lot of mixed feelings for me. No, this is not Doom Eternal. No, this is not Doom 2016. It's a different game. It has that simple, grounded feel of Doom 2016, but with a fuckload of parry attacks. The combat loop is really fun. It's a shoot and parry game with melee weapons of different variations that combo. It's fun. You can parry into a shield bash, into another hit, into a shotgun blast. The game also has this weapon transforming, which is cool, but I find it kinda makes quite a few weapons useless once leveled up to transform the weapons. I also disliked a few of the dragon and mech sections, but none of it was annoying or tiring. It felt like filler though. That can be removed to make a better flow through the game. Overall, this is not superior to Doom Eternal, but it is another good to great Doom game, and that's all anyone should really want from Doom: The Dark Ages. Now, I know people will Reddit rage at me for this, but yes, Expedition 33 was a pretty mid game to me. It was not bad, it was just mid to okay. I'll never go back to play this basically. It has a lot of positives, which the major one is the combat. It's fun. Expedition 33 has many different ways to change up your party through over 50 plus skills. You can change each of them, making them all very different or the way you want. It's the best part of the game, but where I stand in between this all is the parry mechanic. It's quite a one route goal here in E33, where the objective is to parry. You really only need to parry, you also must parry. And not just you must parry, you have to die toward the end against hard ass enemies multiple times to understand the attack formation pattern to respond to that said parry. This is not your typical JRPG where there's multiple ways to beat the enemy. You must be reliant on parry or you lose, which I find kinda boring. Expedition 33 is also well known for their story, and I think the story is okay. I think Gustav really is the glue to the team because once he dies, there's almost a decline in the storytelling and the characters. The party members in general are mostly bland. Yes, they are real in the sense they act very realistic, like actual people, but that also suffers from the realness that it provides. Milel is dull, Ciel is dull, Lune is dull. Each member I listed lack a personality of interest to me. There's nothing I care to hear them speak on during campfires. The conversations are boring, typical, but real. It pretty much takes all the whimsy and fantasy out of their personalities with how the game's presented or these characters are presented. They remind me of a Life is Strange True Colors conversations. I like my RPGs to have personalities and fantasy and whimsy. Metaphor right away gave me this when I meet Hulkenberg, who is an elite royal guard who had a falling out because she felt she lacked the skill to protect people. She not only felt weak, she also had moments of stereotypical racism towards other races. She also had this goofy thing where she had a big appetite. She can eat the weirdest of foods and enjoy it. She was a fangirl of one singer in the game, and she's not the only one in Metaphor who had a bunch of these traits that lifted light into the character and not just talked in a campfire about some fucking farm equipment and her husband. In Expedition 33, I struggle to find traits that have expressive personalities or make me care to hear them talk. I avoided a lot of the campfire conversations over time due to this. I also really disliked the story halfway. It seems there was a writing that pushed them into a corner. The Act 3 shock value for shock value's sake didn't sit well with me, and I struggled to find a reason to care. Why should I care for the real people outside of this paper world? Why do they matter when you didn't really write them with even 10% of depth to make me care? A whole family of paintbrushers just become the story, and I really didn't care for them because they were never talked about until Act 3. I didn't hate the ending choices of the game. I thought those were cool. No happy ending, but sit there with the consequences and thoughts. I liked those endings, but I didn't like the journey to get there.
Yakumo, come in! Do you copy?
Yeah. Then you die. Here. Just doing what needs to be done. Fuck off.
Oh boy, what can I say? When I first heard the news of a new Ninja Gaiden, I was happy, excited, and shocked all at once. So I waited, played it day one on Xbox Game Pass, and I was not just disgusted, I was disappointed. This was not a Ninja Gaiden game, this was a Platinum game dressed up as a Ninja Gaiden. Not only is Ryu Hayabusa not the main character of this game, you get to play as him for only 3 to 4 short chapters. And not only is it short, you go through the same levels as you did Yakumo, who is the protagonist of this game. And not only that, Ryu Hayabusa only gets one weapon and a copy-paste 20% moveset of his original in this game. But wait, what? They completely removed the foundation of what makes Ninja Gaiden. I'm talking about the AI being awful in this game. This game having you slide around the enemies and instantly attaching onto enemies. This suction from a distant lock on your auto aim attacking. It's gross. The game also has some one-dimensional bosses that only need you to dodge one and then blood art to win. This game also has no walls to consistently run on to evade and attack on. It lets you switch to multiple weapons freely, basically avoiding any challenge the AI would have because you can counter every move with the blink of an eye, aka your weapon switches instantly into combos. And none of that would be a problem if the AI managed to find flaws in those switchings. The story in Ninja Gaiden games are nothing special, but this one is by far the worst. A Tokyo of sci-fi darkness, no ninja clans really, anime waifu characters and Wattpad voice actors. What the fuck is this shit? This is not my Ninja Gaiden, this is an insult to the OG, to the fans of the hack and slash series. This was not my series. This one is hard to fully accept or to fully explain why it's mid, because I liked Battlefield 6 in the first 2 months. It was a blast. It's a huge improvement from Battlefield 2042, but it became a slow disaster. It became stagnant. I refuse to even talk about that awful campaign, so let's just speak on the multiplayer. The maps are mostly just bad, but is 1 or 2 steps away from being okay to good. Each map has terrible flow for Battlefield. None of it feels like there's a war going on. There's really no choke points, too many lanes, too much nothing, with the center always being the only good part of the map. Not only are the maps sabotaged, the new maps they bring in are pretty bad outside of one, which is the recent map. Not only are the maps ass, the balance is ass. Why the fuck is any class allowed to use any gun? Why is support also medic? This is awful. Lock the guns to certain classes. It makes no sense why it's like this. It makes everyone pick the very few guns and makes everyone play the same. And don't forget, everyone's picking support just to do selfish heals. Everyone is pig watching their KD as if it's an indicator for being a winner.
No, retard.
Winning is the indicator, you sloppy, lobotomy brain, dopamine Call of Duty having dumbass.
God, I just want to
cut your hands off with a dull knife
and send you over to the toucans with how selfish, ignorant, and stupid these people are. Anyways, that is my mid list of the year. If you like it, cool. If you don't, it is what it is. You know, I thought Outer Worlds 1 was okay. A little, not a little, but pretty dull, but it was okay. It was a whatever game, but okay playthrough for just once. There really was no good companions besides the quirky Reddit girl, or should I say millennial girl, who was manageable to deal with, but you know. Fast forward, and we have Outer Worlds 2. And God fucking damn is this game ass. Huge ass. I don't want to speak on it much, but let me tell you in the simplest words what this game is. It's a completely safe, completely normal, completely nothing of a game. It has a bunch of personalities that would be the spice of flour. It has a bunch of talking, but you want to go to sleep. The combat is improved, but how am I going to get to the game, the gameplay, if I'm forced to hear the terrible factions, enemies, companions? This writing is everything was what's wrong with modern gaming. There's not a bit of edge in this. It's written like a blue-haired Tumblr, double-nosed, pierced Wattpad woman. This game is the best example for what is wrong with modern gaming. It's the best example you can bring up. It's like HR made a game, but I'm done. Enough about that game. It's terrible. I never said this, but Gears of War is one of my favorite franchises growing up. I played Gears 1, 2, and 3 all day with my friends. We were hooked back in those golden days on the Xbox 360, besides Halo 3, playing Forge and all that. Fat Boy was one of my favorites, but Gears was also that other shooter and my main shooter that I really had fun with. Just being with friends, talking crap in the middle of the game, post game, and all that. You just shit talk the other team in Gears lobby, and after no matter who wins or lose, it's just good times. But now Coalition decided to remake a remake. Yes, this is not a remake of the original Gears of War 1, but the remake of Gears of War 1 Ultimate Edition. Not only is both remakes awful, Reloaded is even worse than the Ultimate Edition. The graphics are washed out like the Arkham Trilogy remake, the Nasher is even worse than the Ultimate Edition, and the omnidirectional movement does not work with Gears 1. It's counterintuitive to the control scheme. I hated Gears Reloaded, and the worst part of it all is that they will do a Reloaded remake slop of Gears 2 and 3 next. Seriously, remake culture is such a dopamine nostalgia hit of lazy ideas that I just want to blow my brains out.
Also hinterfragen auch Sie nicht meine Hingabe zum Führer!
Faszinierend. Wo waren die Affengeräusche? Um ihren peinlichen Versuch, Dominanz zu zeigen, zu unterstreichen.
I didn't think Indiana Jones was going to be this outstanding game, but I thought it was going to be similar to Uncharted, because that's Indiana Jones at the end of the day. Everyone like Tomb Raider, Uncharted, etc., all have been inspired by Indiana Jones, so it only makes sense to think in your head, Indiana Jones is going to be a pretty fun Uncharted-like, or maybe even a Tomb Raider-like. But at the end of the day, I was wrong. This game had a lot of cutscenes. It was more movie than game, and when it came to combat, it was decent for what it was, but falls in the aspect of it being Indiana Jones. I wanted some crazy climbing parts, Nathan Drake jumping platform sections. Sure, the puzzles were the best part of the game. They did excellent at that. But escaping these tombs was melodramatic. It felt shallow, bland, lifeless. And the best part of the game by far is the whole avalanche in the Himalayas into Hong Kong, where Indiana Jones uses his fucking whip to pull a wing of an airplane down. He's also doing some insane Nathan Drake shit by being on top of a wing of a plane. It was ridiculous, it was fun, but that part was the only fun I really had. The acting was great, the characters were pretty good, outside your partner Gina, who has way too much screen time as if she's fucking Indiana Jones herself. I mean, it was a little too much. Can we get Indiana Jones being more indie? Can we get more of him being the smart one? Why does he need his other half to be better at parts and to be as smart? The rest of the cast was great. The main villain boss is by far the best voice acted video game character I heard in a long ass time. It's a shame Voss voice actor was never nominated at the Game Awards, probably because he played a ally of a great painter. I won't speak much more on this game because the boat chapter is really where I lost my mind, and it dragged so much ass that I'd rather not get into it. Where do I start with this? It's been in the making for years. For fucking years. Only to release in the most minimalist looking skate world possible. Skate 4 is everything with what's wrong with modern gaming. I can look past the live service free-to-play model they have, but completely removing skate culture from the game is the death of skate. The world is bland. There's not enough cool spots because they want you to open a menu to put skate ramps and rails in the game to create your own. By the way, there's a limit, so you can't really make something great to skate around. Let's speak on the quest system. None of them sound like skateboarders, even when actual skateboarders are in it. It sounds like an HR consultant game. Just play 30 minutes of Skate 3 story mode and you'll see how different it is. Skate 3 is all about the skate culture. It's goofy, it's that dude skater humor and feel and atmosphere to it with an amazing soundtrack, unlike the new game. The character creation is the worst. The clothing options are not skate culture, it's mostly weird shit no one will wear. This game was made by, people of
The Message.
I feel bad for skate fans because this has been in the making for years, and this is the best you can do? You're missing skate culture, a mirror edge looking minimalist demo looking world, and skate minigames missing from the fucking game still? What is this new Hall of Meat? This sucks. Everything about the quest lines, it just suck. I'm sorry skate fans, but it only gets worse from here. Now, I told you it gets worse from here. If you hated skate, well guess what, skateboard fans? You are in for hell. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 Remake is once again everything wrong with modern gaming. Adding a bunch of dumb skaters no one heard of, removing most of what made Pro Skater 4 dope for its career mode. Not only that, there's no new game plus. Pro Skater 4 had a massive cut of content. The game is jankier than Pro Skater 1 and 2, and the created character is the same as the previous remake Pro Skaters. They changed some levels. The big titty woman on the boat level is replaced. People are replaced because, of people of
The Message.
It's total HR doomsday, and the soundtrack is worse. Where's the punk? Where's the ska? Where's the rock? Where's the skateboard music? The diversity feel in it is noticeable, and it's not because of merit, it's because the team needed to be diverse. The corporate design is really noticeable. It looks clean, smooth, optimized. Everything looks sleek and professional without the real feel of the art of Tony Hawk games. No attitude, no edge, no soul, no creativity. Just look at the fucking corporate design of the cover compared to the old Tony Hawk game covers. These games have no identity, they have no purpose. It's filled with modern humor and modern art of no effort. It's filled with total depression. Everything makes you miss Neversoft. And that was my best, mid, and worst games of 2025. This was a very forgettable year. I won't remember this year. I'll still be thinking of the greatness that was the late 90s and the whole 2000s of the golden era of gaming. The future is whatever you can make it, and 2026 will hopefully have some bangers in the midst of pig slop, but hey, modern gaming is not so bad, I guess. The best part of gaming today is that you can play anything today from your computer, or be it a lot of games with a lot of consoles with great backwards compatibility like Xbox. You don't have to play modern games. There's a reason Steam users mostly play old games. There's a reason 2000s game subgenres do not exist anymore. Be a noticer and do not follow in line. If you enjoyed what I like, thank you. If you do not, thank you for watching. Anyways, now, get out.